Likutei Torah in Shir Hashirim in the Hosofis, that's in Shir Hashirim. This is actually, we're doing now the 27th Mamer in Shir Hashirim. The Mamer Ani Yeshena Velbi Or Koil Doidi Doifek Pischili Chulu. I am asleep, but my heart is awake. The voice of my beloved, of my doidi, is doifek, is banging, pischili chulu, open up. You know, this story, the metaphor in Shir Hashirim about the person looking for his beloved, and he's asking her to open the door for him. And he says that while she's saying that while I'm asleep, but my heart is still awake. So what does this metaphor mean? Uberabbis b'Shir Hashirim. In the Medrash Rabbah in Shir Hashirim, it says, Ani yeshena min haketz, I'm asleep. Don't know the end. Don't know what the end of the Golus is. So I'm basically asleep in the Golus. The same thing is the Bezoyar Parshas Emer, Tzadikei Omed Aleph, it says, Ani yeshena, I'm asleep begoluso, that in the exile. During the time of exile, the Yidden are considered to be asleep. But yet, even though they were asleep, but libi or, their heart is still awake. The heart is still awake. Libi or. So what is the idea? Kihine hagolus doime lishino. Exile is compared to sleeping. What is the comparison? Exile to sleeping. Hu al yidei nistam, right? Is the word nistam samach tov mem, right? Nistam. Nistam. Yeah. So how does the sleep take place? That the seeing, the person's eyes become closed. Nistam, Mare'enov, the look of his eyes are closed. Kach, Hine begolus. Also in Golus, our eyes are closed. Nemar, it says, Oisoseinu loy roinu. Oisoseinu means the wonders, the signs, but he teaches over here, Oisoseinu loy roinu, Pirush, Oisoseinu. What does it mean, Oisoseinu? Kemoi Oisiyoseinu. It's like our letters. Our letters, Loireinu, we don't see them. We don't grasp. We don't get the full of the letters. The Hainu Oisius HaTorah VaTfilah. We're talking about the letters of Torah and Davening. So basically, while we do have Oisius HaTorah Tfilah, but we don't really see. We don't really get it. The pasuk says in Yeshaya, Perik Mamhei pasuk Yud Aleph, Oisios Sha'aluni al Bonoi, the letters ask me about my children. Ve'al poyal yodi titzaveni, it's a pasuk in Yeshaya, and on the action of my head, it commands me. What is the meaning? V'inyan Oisius comes from the language Boiker has come. Oisius means that it's coming, it brings down. Shehem hameviyas v'hamamshichos oirein sof baruch hu mahelam elagilu. They are the one that bring and draw down the blessed Ein Sof from the hidden to revelation. That's Oisius. They bring about Osa. They bring it. Liyos Gilui Ma Ein Sof Baruch Hu Mamesh Benefesh Al Mato. So that there should actually be the revelation of the blessed Ein Sof, blessed be He, in the human soul below. That is the letters that bring to the person a revelation of the Ein Sof. That's also the reason why they're called horses. Letters are called horses. As it says in Matan Torah, you ride on your horses. What does it mean, riding the horses? The horses are the letters. Basically, the Eibishter rides, the Torah rides, the Eibishter rides on the letters of the Torah. V'nimshalu, and the letters are compared to meisus legabe rechve, just like a horse relative to its rider. Shekeshem shasus rotz u'moilech asad reichev lemokim she'ein ha'reichev magil l'sham mitzad tivoi ba'atzmei, just like a horse can run, and it will lead the rider to a place that the rider cannot get there by himself, in natural by himself. So the letters are like a horse relative to the one who rides them. The one who rides them is the light of the blessed Ein Sof. It's higher and higher than the definitions of the Staushlus and dressed up in steps. And there's no thought that can capture him. Which means he cannot dress up in the descent and in the devolution of the order of the steps. The only way he can come down is by being caught up, by being captured, and by dressing up in the words of Torah. So the words of Torah, they lead the Ein Sof in the Hishtaushlos HaMadreges to come down like a horse leads the rider to places he can't go. The Ein Sof can't go there by himself. It's much higher than the Hishtaushlos. How does it come down in Hishtaushlos? Is by dressing up, by writing those letters, by writing the words of Torah. ובדברי המסחל נלחן כחולו מזוזו מימין, ובדברי המסחל ריח שמנך. And this is Beitz Chaim, right? Ches on the Beitz Chaim, right?
Yeah.
Shar Aleph Peridal. Yeah. V'zehu ha'oisies shaluni al bonai. This is what we say, the pasuk in Yeshaya, that the letters ask me about my children. Ha'oisies atzmon hein hamshachas al bonai. These letters themselves, they are the ones that draw down on my children, which means that in the letters of Torah and Tefillah, you bring down, you draw down this revelation on the soul of the person below. It's ha'oisios al bonai. These letters go on top of the bonai that brings down onto the person, the human being of the person, liyos maskelas umizbeinenes bigdulas ein sof baruchus liyoso, so that she should understand and reflect in the gedulas, the greatness of the Ein Sof, blessed is he. It's like the name, we call him Ein Sof Baruch Hu, that is actually means he doesn't have any end and there's no comparison to him. Everything before Hashem is like nothing. The Zois tichla ela banefesh bebchinas bitl mamish. So therefore, the soul yearns in a total subjugation. So that is to be the revelation of the Ein Sof below, like above. That is below, it's through the soul. The soul's wanting to expire means that it feels and it wants that Ein Sof. So the Oisios are really that should normally bring down the madrega of the Ein Sof on the nefesh. However, ach begolus, but in exile, we don't see. He says we don't see the Oisius. It is not visible and it's not revealed. The actual revelation of the Ein Sof Seviv Kol Almim in an open way, revealed way. No. Gilu Mamash Ba'ilam, in a actual revealed way in the world, as it's going to be in the future. Over there, we'll see eye to eye in the future. The glory of Hashem will be revealed, and all flesh will see, will be able to see, not now. So that's what we're saying, Ani Yeshena. We're sleeping. We're sleeping is because even the Oisias that we get, we don't really fully appreciate the Oisias that we have. But yet, my heart is awake. Pirush bezoyer, v'libi. My heart. What is my heart? The kutshabrichu. My heart, that's Hashem. Kutshabrichu. That's my heart. V'chein kosu berabes b'shir hashirim kabei. V'libi or also writes with regard to the or. Eichon motzinu shenikra HaKadosh Baruch Hu libon shel Yisrael. Where do we find that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is called the heart of Israel? It's maybe my heart. Min hadein kro. That comes from this pasuk. The pasuk says, Sur levavi, the rock of my heart, v'chelki, and my portion, elikim loim is God forever. So the Eibush there is my heart. That's also the meaning, v'zeu levav chisikalo. You, my heart, made my heart a chisikalo. That means also the level of the heart. What does it mean Hashem is my heart? It means the heart is the vitality, the energy of all the limbs. Because in the heart, Shaboy, in the heart, Mishkan Hadam, that's where the blood rests. The blood is the soul, which vitalizes the whole world. So Eibishter is our heart. He is our life. Becomes our life. That's Libi. The Eibishter is my life. Hashem vitalizes everything. That means that the Eibishter is my heart. But we need to understand. Why do we call it, we give an example, we call it the heart. Why don't we call it the brain? Because technically the brain also leads all the energy to the Evorim. Also, the brain is the one that gives the influence to the chayis, to the body in general, because we know that there is three dominants: moicho, Velib of a kapta. That's the brain, the heart, and the liver. Why do we choose to call Hashem Libi versus calling Hashem Moichi? Why the heart, not the body? Ach einay doime sibu v'hiluch hashpos hachayis shemin alev leivorim. It is not the same, not compared, the circulation and the flow that goes of the energy of the vitality to the general body. That goes from the lave, the heart to the limbs. To the way the brain flow goes to the limbs is different. Alha Leiv Nemar, with regards to the heart, it says, Kol hanecholim hoilchim el hayom, all the rivers go to the sea, Hulu, ubemokim shehem hoilchim shom, heim shovim lalachas. The place where they go, that's where they return to go. So they go and they return, as he's going to explain. Shenimshach Adam mikol ha'borim el halev. That the dam extends from all the limbs. It goes back. It goes el halev. The blood returns to the from the limbs to the heart. And then the chayzim and alev and nimshal chol ha'vorim, and then it returns from the heart and goes to all the limbs. The limbs, the blood goes to the heart, and then the heart gives back. One thing, v'gam hine hashpos hachayis shemin halev le'vorim, and also the flow of energy that comes from the heart to the limbs, u'min adam shehu hanefesh. That is the blood. That's from the blood, which is the soul. And the blood is created from the food, which is digested. And that becomes the actual blood of the soul. That's the way it works with the heart. Bishul hamachol ubekovid. The beginning, where does the food cook? Where does it get prepared? Sheshom nasid dam umizbarer. And the liver, it turns into blood and it's purified, sorted out. Umehamufchar shaleach lelev. And from the better it sends to the heart. And then the blood is closed in the heart. Then the heart opens up through the power that pulls, that comes from the brain. And that opens up the heart to draw the blood to all the limbs. That's why there's constant a pulse. The heart is always pulsing. Why? Because the clothing that the blood closes in the heart from the liver, opening up to give it out to all the limbs, Shein Tomid is always continuous. Because this is a constant process. The purification and the new blood is constantly sent from the liver to the heart and the closes. And then there's a power that comes from the brain that opens it up. And that's why it's always continuously going, rotzei, and returning. Bechinas, schiro, sigiro, upsicha. In a level of closing and opening. Bezohu adofek. That's the pulse. That's the pulse. Adofek halev, tomid machmazeh. That the heart is always pulsing because of that. Always banging. Nimtzo, so it turns out, hashpoas hachayis shemin halev leivorim, that the flow of the vitality that comes from the heart to the limbs, medam hanefesh sheboy, from the blood of the soul which is in the heart, hainu mashe mekabel mina chayis mina kovid, that is which he receives the energy from the liver. That blood is closed upon him and then it opens up. So that is the hashpor from the lev. Masha'enkein hashpor amshochas hachayis shemin hamoyach leivorim, as opposed to the vitality that comes from the brains to the limbs. Hi hamshocha v'hashpor levad. That's just a drawing down and a flow alone. There's no back and forth. There's no coming from the lower and giving and coming back. It's just a flow. This will explain why we call Hashem a leiv and not the moyach. B'zeh yuvan, ma she'HaKadosh Baruch Hu nikra al derech Moshe b'shem leiv davke. Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu is specifically referred to a heart. Ki kol hashpoes hachayis shemashpia libruov, for all the flows of the energy that Hashem gives to the created beings, it all depends on the arousal of below. That's what it hinges on. It has to go up and then come down. What is this arousal below? That's the arousal below, when as the pasuk says, you should love Hashem with all your heart and all your soul. Ahavta comes from the language want. You should want Hashem, not just love Hashem, but want Hashem. You need to have that want to Hashem in order to get the flow from Hashem. What does it mean to want? That is a wanting of the heart with a desire and a want. So all what he wants and all that he desires is liyos havaya, v'havto es Hashem elikecha. That havaya, that therefore he wants that havaya, which is which is actually the infinite light of Hashem, blessed be He. He wants that to come down b'vchinas elikecha. V'havto has Hashem elikecha, that it should become elikecha. Your God, the Hainu, which means begilu hanefesh, ki'ilu l'neichach. Elikecha, your God, that is, it should be open in your heart as if it's next to you. Elikecha, when you say you, meaning that you're right here, you're present. That means gilu, the level of gilu. V'rotzid v'chefet zeh, and this desire and want, zeh b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. We say, v'havta Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. What does it mean with all your heart, with all your soul? Shelo rotzin b'chefetz achar zulosei. Should have no other want and yearning besides this. As the pasuk says in Tehillim, David HaMelech said, Mili bashamayim v'imcha lo chafatzti. Meaning, he didn't want anything in the heavens, anything that is with Hashem, he didn't desire. A person needs physical, lives in a physical world. All the needs of this world that a person needs to use them to sustain his life, they should be like forced. Like somebody throws something behind his back, meaning he doesn't really want it. He has to do it because that he lives in this world, so he uses it. Because as the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, it's against your will that you live here, but it's not that you want it. But this is not your real want. It's not your real desire. Now, Alter Rebbe is going to distinguish now between the lotion of chayfetz and the lotion of rotzin. We say imchol loy chofatzti. The word chofatzti represents a inner yearning, an inner wanting. Sometimes you want something, but it's not what you really want. You want it externally. You want it. Chayfetz represents something you have a yearning for. This is what it's specifically says. Loy chofatzti. Sheyesh hefresh ben chayfetz l'rotzin. There is a difference between chayfetz, which means want, and the word rotzin. Sherotzin nikra misha roitza hadavar af shaloi mirtzoyne v'chevtzoi ha'amiti. Rotzin, to say I want, you can call that even if somebody wants the item, not his true yearning want and rotzin, to the extent we say, sometimes we force somebody to do, but he says, I want. So does he really want? It's roitze, it's not chofetz, it's roitze externally. Nikra rotzen elsle. That is still called a rotzen by him. He still wants it. Let's say because you force him. Let's say because he doesn't want to be beaten. But he says he wants it. So that's a level. External level. Avol chofetz, nikra chofetz v'rotzen amiti. What chayfetz means a true wanting. The hainu sheyesh loy chayfetz u'tshuka. That means that he has a wanting and he has a yearning. Machmas shemoitze koyach koyras ruach. That is because he finds a pleasure, a pleasantness for the spirit, v'tainug, and a delight in the fact that which he wants. So basically, that is the meaning of chosif. Al zen nemar. That's why it says v'imchol loy chofatzti. Doesn't say v'imchol loy rotzisi, but it says loy chofatzti. V'loshoin chayfetz v'loy b'loshen rotzen. It says loshen chayfetz, not the language of rotzen, but chofatzti. Shekol cheftzei v'chol yisha yi rak ledovko bo yizborach. His whole want and his whole look, he only wants to connect to him, blessed. He is the source of life. He's the source of the delight. What do we say? Emes v'yatzu v'ovu v'nechovi v'nechmad v'noyim chulu. Hadover hazeh. This matter we're saying all these beautiful languages. Ovi v'chovi v'nechmad v'noyim. V'hainu hadover hazeh shebekrishma. What is this item? All this is beautiful. This is what we read in the Krishma. So these words, so that we want that the words of Hashem, Torah, everything should come with the level of real desire, real wanting. Dover Hazeh, which is what we read in the Krishma, which is the Torah. So we need to have Isarusa de Latato. That's why we call it late. That's the Rusa de Latato, to have the Imchol Chafatzti. Hine Bisarusa de Latato Zu, through this arousal below, Isarusa de Le'elo brings about the arousal from above. Gilui Pnimis Ritzoni Isbori V'Cheftu Amiti, the revelation of the inner blessed will, his will, and his true want. That there should be the extending Torah mitzvahs. So he places the testimony, the Torah Yaakov, the Torah Som Yisrael. He puts the Torah by the Yidden, meaning he puts his real desire into the Torah. And in the Yidden, there is a hamshocha from the delight of the Supreme. Mamer, like we say, Asher Kiddishonu b'mitzvayso. Asher, that means Osher, Humaloshin ba'oshri, ki ishruni bonus. She called him Osher. She says, I'm fortunate about the women that she had Osher. Shuloshin Shevach v'Hilul. That's a language of praise and Hallel, Halderech v'Toy v'Yofe. It's good, it's beautiful. That's praising and Hallel. Hanemer ba'emes v'atziv v'Yochov v'Nechmad v'Noim. So, Shenimshach. So what's going on here? Shenimshach Eineg ha'elyon ma'orin sov baruch hu hasvev kol almim. That you extend from this supreme delight, from the Ein Sov Baruch Hu that surrounds all worlds. Shu Mekoir Chaya Chaim. He is the source of life that gives life. Moker HaTainugim. That's the source of all the delights. Lislabish betoira u'mitzvahs shalifanenu. To dress up in the Torah mitzvahs that we study, that is before us, which is Haniglois Lonu, that which is revealed to us. Hamluboshes binyonim gashmim, which are dressed in physical matters. Asher koyach zeh. So we get this Ein Sof, the Sof of Kol Almim, we get the Tainug, we get the Makoir Hachayis to come down in Torah. What we learn. Asher koyach zeh liyos hamshach hazu shalamaylo min hayishtalshalus. This power, so that we bring down this particular hamshacha, which is higher than ishtalshalus. Yededes umislabeshes lamata mata bisarusa delatata zutalia. For it to come down and dress up below into our level of Torah, that hinges on our sarusa delatata. When we say Shema Yisrael, and we say v'ahavta, and we do it with a chayfetz v'rotzim, only to Hashem ilkol chafatzli, that's the way we get the hamshacha. V'ayim hashikosu gam kim zeh bebiur haposik. Yenosi b'pirish ki koilach orev u'marich novo v'divra maschel v'ayy etzle omen b'pirish v'ayy shashum yom yom. V'ayim hashikosu v'divra maschel yisrael hagefen v'posik us chatem is called mitzvahs. V'ayim hashikosu v'divra maschel aboyim yashresh b'pirish ki tuyu atam eres chayfetz. Okay, so basically, before we can be mamshich, the hamshocha, the sarusa leila, we need the sarusa de latata. We need to turn to Hashem. That's why our sages of blessed memory tell us. First, accept upon yourself the yoke of the heavenly kingdom. Then you will accept the yoke of mitzvahs. Because you cannot really accept the yoke of mitzvahs. And that in those mitzvahs you should have the supreme delight. First, you have to accept the yoke of the heavenly kingdom. First, we need the sarusa de latata. So we need the love, the hafta, the ova, the wanting. That is the first parsha. So about this Sarusa de Latata and Sarusa de Leila, it says, "Velbi or my heart is still awake." Kagam shani yeshena begaluso. For although I am asleep in exile, we don't have the gilu in those years. Mikomakim is still. Even during our exile, lo yazavnu Hashem b'chinas reusa de liba. The Eibishter did not neglect us from having the desire of the heart. B'chinas rotzin u'tshuka sheyesh b'chol nefesh miYisrael. That's the desire and the yearning which exists by every Jewish soul. La'oirer es ha'ava at shetachpatz li'yispashet b'levushim shebenoiga. To arouse, to wake up that love until it starts to want to undress itself from the garments of Noiga. And through this Isarusa de Latato, Nimshecha Isarusa de Le'elo. That extends the arousal of above, which is Hamshochas Einega Elyon B'Teiro Mitzvahs, bringing down the supreme delight in Teiro Mitzvahs. Elo, still, even though we are mamshechit in the Torah mitzvahs, but it's mamshech in a way that it's still hidden and it's not open. So we're mamshechit, but it's not open. And that's why we say, we didn't see it. Specifically, we're not saying don't exist. We say we don't see it. Specifically, we haven't seen it's not revealed, not visible, and not revealed to the eye of flesh. Ayin b'ayin mamish. It's not eye to eye mamish. But yet our letters are still in existence. That's the letter. The letters Torah Tefillah we daven that come from the Enes Baruch Hu come down to us over here. Well, we don't see it, but it does come down. He does great wonders all by himself, which means there is always these great wonders. He's always being mamshich these great wonders. But they're alone. We don't know it, we don't see it, but they're there. It's levade. The hainu b'chinas helam, that means that it's in a state of helam. Tefillah b'mokim karbonis tiknu. Tefillah takes the place of the karbonis, rak. The difference is, through the karbonis, when we brought up a fire aroma, a pleasant aroma for Hashem, there actually was a revelation of the Shechina, the divine we can see in the Beis Hamikdash, through the actual karbonis. There was a fire that would come down from above, Aryeh Ochel Karbanim. That was like a lion that eats the kabbanis. But through davening, which is b'mokem kabbanis, nimshach hamshocha zu, nasa hamshocha zu b'bchinas Allah. This hamshocha, it comes in a hidden way. V'ayim hashikosu mizeh sev divra hamaschil, tzab as b'nei Yisrael martalem es kabbanechul. So we have it. By the actual korbanos, we can see it. There was a actual impact, brought down the fire from above. But tefillah, we bring it down, but it's hidden. But still, through davening, also the soul is elevated to sort of be sucked up in the body of the king, and to bring down from their chayim v'chesed, life and kindness, a shefa oir insof baruch hu, hanelam mislabesh b'oisa Torah tefillah, the flow of the infinite oir of blessed be He that is hidden and dresses up in the words of Torah and tefillah. V'loi oid shekol doidi doifek hu al hayad. They call doidi doifek. That's the hand. You bang on the door. Kol doidi doifek. That's on the hand. V'hainu ha'orev ha'amshocha b'chinas chitzonis. That is a ray and extension in an external way. Shehu chitzonis ha'orev mihalev. That is a external shine of the heart. That shekemoy shenimshach b'defika deliba b'bchinas pnimis, as it comes down in the banging of the heart in a inner, kach misram shochazu b'chinas chitzonis. That's the way we appears. This external, the fika layad, banging on the hand. In the inner, in the heart, when the heart bangs, nimshachu ha-Torah va-mitzvahs, that extends Torah mitzvahs, as the pasuk vayokom edus b'Yakov chulu, and that's the internal banging. Ubebchinas chitzonius heinam shochas chasde avaye tomid. In the external, that's the extending Hashem's constant kindness. Tomid ki al kol asher gomolonu, for everything that He has given us, all the good that He gave us. La'osin niflois gedailes, does wonders by Himself. Noisin lechem lechol basar, He gives bread for all flesh. Chulu hazon es oilum kulei, one who feeds the whole world, betuvay, with His kindness, with grace, and with goodness, with grace, and with kindness. So you have the heart. We're talking about the hamshocha in the ruchnisdike matter, and when we talk about the hand, the doifek, that's talking about the practical. Give us life and give us hashpah, goodness, and kindness. Bezeu inyan doifek oisyesh pokad. The word doifek, bang, the pulse, it's called the letters as pokad. Shemizen nimshach liyos, from this it extends to be Vashem pokad esora, remembering sorrow. That's the chitzonius, that's the pokoid pokaditi eschem esasu lachem. Mitzrayim. Those are the practical manifestation. V'ayin mashekosu Aposik Eleb Kudei Chulu Asher Pokad Al Pi Moshe.